Hi, welcome to You Can Teach Yourself. I'm your guide, Patrick Horn, and today we're going to talk about FARE, F-A-R-E, since that's something that I made up as a way to remember basic principles on how you can learn to teach yourself. Without these principles, I think it's going to be considerably harder to teach yourself. And also they're basic and general enough that it doesn't really necessarily conflict with any sort of teaching that another teacher might have. These are just basic first principles ideas that you can think about when you're practicing to help you improve yourself. So F stands for fun, A for alignment, R for relaxation or release of tension, and then E for efficiency of movement or just efficient. Let's start right off the bat with fun. So I start with fun. It's kind of more of a musical concept than it is a technical one. Although you can have fun when you're practicing technique, generally the music is the fun part and the technique supports getting you to that fun. So I think of it as more of a musical thing, although it can be anything. Anything that makes you happy, more power to you. For me, it's the music, and I'm going to show you an example of how we can add fun to an A major scale using both techniques that we can use as a performer and then techniques that a composer can use to make music more fun. So let's just jump right into it. Here's our A scale, not fun. Okay, that's boring. What we can do is it sounds nice, but it's boring, all right? What we can do is we can add some dynamics to that, all right? Generally, the lower the note, the quieter, the higher the note, the louder, like a singer. It's going to start to get more fun. And now to that, that's a little more fun. We can add a little bit of speed. So as we go up the scale, we're going to increase our speed. As we go down the scale, we'll decrease the speed. I'll probably add a little vibrato at the top too. So now we're going to add two techniques that the performer can use to create a phrase, which to me, phrasing is all about having fun. And suddenly it starts to get some life, some humanity into it, and some feeling into it. Now, what are some of the tricks the composer used to even further enhance this? As a performer, we're not allowed to really change the musical notes, but a composer can add these notes. So if you see them, you know what to do with them as a performer. It's sort of like license to emote or to express. The first thing that a composer is going to use to embellish that scale would be to add an appoggiatura, all right, at the very top, and that's simply adding a B above the A at the top of the scale. And that's to give a little bit of extra lean. Let's see if this makes it more fun. That's slightly more fun. We can even add some bowing to it. So we're adding some phrasing, we're adding some speed, and we're adding appoggiatura. The final thing that a composer can do is add ornaments. And ornaments can make it more fun too. It's kind of like musical bling. It adds a little sparkle, to parts of the music that you want to highlight, that you want to shine. So here's an example of that. So we added an ornament coming down the scale. This is an example of fun. To me, that final scale is a lot more fun and interesting than the first one, using performing techniques and using composer trick techniques. You're going to see examples of this in videos that come, but I'm going to focus more on the next three things. A-R-E. A for alignment. All right, so alignment is it's a big topic, but I put it second because you need to have proper alignment before you can then relax and be efficient. So the basic idea is your spine is the first one. And it needs to be straight from this angle, which is good. But from this angle, there's going to be a bit of a curve to it, right? It's like the S curve. It's like your head, your upper back, your lower back. So you get a little bit of an S curve. Now you want that curve when you're looking at your spine from the side, because it helps to absorb compression from weight from above if you're holding up something heavy, or you jump and you land. Besides just your knees and your legs absorbing the impact, the spine being curved, it can kind of flex a little bit like this. It also helps you initiate bending movements, forward bends or back bends, to have that curve in the spine from the side. However, from the front, if you've got a curve from the front, that is an indication of scoliosis, and you don't want that. And that's where violin playing can start to get you out of whack. Is with this one here and a little bit this way too. So we're going to show you. The basic idea with alignment is that you want the violin to come to you. You don't want to go to the violin. If you go to the violin, you're going to start doing something wacky with your spine. If the violin comes to you, then your spine stays straight from this perspective. If I go to the violin, I might twist my head this way and go towards the violin. If I go towards the violin from this perspective, I might turtle my head like this, all right? Now, if you bring the violin to you, I can keep the neck basically aligned, right, with a natural curve here. So that's one of the basic spinal things, is don't go to your violin. That's going to get you out of whack pretty quick, and then that's going to mess up your relaxation, because you're going to have to overcompensate with other muscle groups that aren't required to support your spine when it's out of alignment. Instrument comes to you. All right. Another example of alignment that's sort of on a smaller scale than the whole body would be like, let's say your left hand. And this is something I've been thinking about more recently. And that's that in order for each finger to have its space to drop in space onto the fingerboard, you don't want to have fingers kind of, coming towards each other like this. You see how that first finger is not aligned this joint with this tendon. Now, if I get that first finger aligned with the tendon, suddenly it's a lot easier to drop all the fingers. They all have their own space to drop, and I don't have to make any sort of adjustments with my wrist in order to get like the fourth finger to go down like this, for example, because I've got my first finger back here like this, and my four is very comfortable coming down now. This is what I call the block, or the frame of the hand. It all is based on the alignment of the finger with the tendon from the back of the hand. So we're looking at the hand this way. All right, so then let's see if I've leaving anything out basically with alignments. Oh yeah, well, also your shoulders should basically be in alignment. This is something that can come out of whack if you go to your instrument and you bring the shoulder forward like this. You can bring your head forward. You can also bring your shoulder forward. I wouldn't recommend that. So you want to keep your shoulders straight across, as if there was almost like a line going through your shoulders. My neck's kind of in the way, but you get the idea. The shoulders should stay down and back, and the violin comes to you. So if you're looking at it this way, I'm not doing anything with my shoulder when I bring the violin in. It just stays put. I might lift it a little bit, because right now my shoulder rest is a little bit on the low side. But basically your shoulder stays put like that. And it's going to be straight across. That's another issue of alignment that's really important. We talked about the head, not turning it this way to go to the violin, or come forward this way as in turtling. All right, good. I think that covers the basics of alignment. We'll see it in videos to come. Relax, R. So this is a big one, and this is the main focus of all my videos, because I've played tight for so many years, and it's a lifetime process for me to unwind all of that static tension. And I've been through most of it, so that's where I'm going to help you the most. If you don't have any static tension, you don't need to watch any of these videos. Congratulations, you're one of the lucky ones. This is for everyone else who, when you try to play faster, you try to play louder, or you try to do something more difficult, if it doesn't come right away, you compensate by trying to muscle it. That was something that I always tried to do. That's not really the wise way to do it, although it seems like initially you might make some improvements. In the long run, you're going to injure yourself. So the first thing for relaxing is just to understand that the weight of your head is what's holding the violin up, that relaxed weight of your head. and to a certain extent your hand over here too. But basically, watch this. You put your head down. It's the weight of my head that's going to lift the scroll. If I nod a little bit, the scroll's going to move in the opposite direction. So just try that. If you have a shoulder rest, the shoulder rest is sort of like your fulcrum right here. And this is like a little teeter-totter. Shorter end on this side, longer end on this side. Yeah, you get more mechanical advantage if you move your shoulder rest further down this way. The weight of the head drops and the scroll lifts. So that's one example of relaxed weight helping you out. Shoulders can get tight from playing the violin because you are going towards the instrument. So simple exercise is just simply shrug the shoulders, drop the shoulders, and exhale. Before you play, before you play something, up, down, exhale, and you're ready to go. The other thing that can be tight would be left versus right. Sometimes you can have tension in the left thumb. It might transfer to the right thumb. If you have tension in the left shoulder, check for tension on the right side and the right shoulder. Very often, if one side's tight, chances are the other side could also be tight. So it's almost a twofer. When you find tightness in one side, check the other side. I've got a couple exercises here that I can show you for left versus right. So the left, I've got a left wrist release, thumb release, shoulder release exercise all in one. And all of these can be tight on the right side as well, but we're going to focus on the left side right now. So I've noticed that when you play fourth finger and low second finger, that can often create tightness in the thumb or the wrist or the shoulder. And I like to start with the 4 because that helps align the hand properly. And then I play all the fingers after that, and I hold them down, and then I'll show you what you do after I hold the fingers down. So let's start with the 4. So I got all my fingers down. I wiggle my thumb. Everyone knows that trick. I wiggle my wrist, and I move my shoulder like this, and then I play again. Thumb soft or relaxed, wrist relaxed, flexible, and shoulder relaxed. Release the shoulder. Now, if I've got my fingers all aligned properly, my wrist shouldn't move when I do this. So let me see if I can get that happening. There we go. Okay, so that simple exercise is going to reduce tension in most of the left side of your body. Just that one simple thing. And then the equivalent would be like your shoulder gets tight when you approach the frog if you've got longer arms. If you have shorter arms, you're going to maybe be tight when you approach the tip. I'm going to show longer arm people approaching the frog. This is the exercise that I like to do. I think I got it in one of the videos, but I'll show it right here. To release the tension in the bow hand and in the shoulder. So we come up to the frog, shoulder up, down, thumb relaxed. You can't really see it, but the thumb there should be no upward pressure on that thumb, and the index finger also gets to rest at the frog. Rock the bow, and check everything again, and here we go. So I'll check it one more time. Shoulder, fingers, roll, shoulder. Better. And that last one was pretty good. So, using shoulder release, thumb release, index finger release, and a little bit of singing to help with the breathing, you can release some of the tension in your body that can cause the bow shake on the down bow. That's something I'm still working on, and it happens from when my wrist goes from this position to this position, and also if I've drunk coffee, which I have, I can get the bow shakes. So something I'm still working on. We'll cover that in a separate video as well, as I'm consistently improving with this. Finally, we got efficiency. I think that's the final one, right? Yeah, efficiency. So many examples of this would be like once you're relaxed and once you're aligned and you're having fun, You want to be efficient as possible in your movements so that you have good endurance, so you don't get tired, because that will kill your fun pretty quick. So one of the most basic things is when you're doing bowing is to keep that right elbow still, because if the right elbow is going to move like this, you're using your whole arm to bow. All right, and that's a lot of weight compared to just half of your arm right here. So I like to do a lot of stuff at the wall when it comes to sort of détaché, 8th notes, 16th notes. Keep that elbow against the wall. It's okay if your shoulder doesn't touch, because yeah, that's not as important. It's keeping the elbow still. Of course, you can lift it and drop it for the string crossings, but that's going to be much more efficient than if I were to have my elbow move. And suddenly, we're activating the pec muscle here in order to do every single bow change. That's not a good idea. So that's just an example of efficiency there. You might even, consider doing just the hand in string crossings as a way of being more efficient. And I'm trying to minimize the whole forearm motion like this, but that's a possible way to be even more efficient. When you're doing string crossings, you're using just the hand instead of the whole arm. So another idea for becoming more efficient. For the left hand, efficiency with the left hand is going to be basically, you can't see this, but you don't want to press too hard. You only want to press the string down hard enough to get the string into the fingerboard to stop the string so that your vibrations are slightly shorter in terms of the length of the string. So I would say like no more than a mezzo dynamic for the left hand in terms of pressure. Even if you're doing forte with the right hand, you still want to be mezzo piano, maybe mezzo-ish with the left hand in terms of the pressure down going into the string. All right, don't be forte, because that's going to get you tired really quick. It's also going to cause you to tighten up with the thumb. By the way, the thumb is a matter of efficiency. Because I have a long thumb, you're going to see it up on the side, but that doesn't mean I'm squeezing from the side. The support for the thumb always counteracts the downward pressure of the fingers. So it's got to be an upward pressure in the thumb. Now, if you've got one of those thumbs that can go underneath the neck and bend back like this, that's perfect for being underneath the neck and counteracting the downward force of the fingers, which isn't very much to begin with. But if you got a long thumb, you might curve it like this and use this joint right here as the part that's underneath the neck. That has the disadvantage of not being able to reach with your fourth finger as far as if you were out here. You're going to have more of a distance. Sorry, my computer screen disappeared on me. Let's see, we were talking about, the thumb. You don't want to squeeze from the side because the pressure of the fingers is not coming from the side, it's going down. So your thumb should support from underneath. The fingers shouldn't fly up too far away because it'll take time for them to come down again if they go far away. It's always better to keep the fingers close to where they need to go in order to improve efficiency and also speed, like this. And then the final thing is when you're doing a descending scale, try this little 4-3 exercise. Put your 4 and 3 down, lift the 3 like this, and now I want you to stagger them. Drop the 3 and lift the 4. Drop the 4, lift the 3. Actually do this with 1 and 2 down. And feel how difficult this is compared to just simply lifting your 4 with the 3 down. And when you convince yourself that that's a lot easier than lifting and dropping the 3 with the 4 in contrary motion, like this, once you're convinced that this is easier, when you do a downward scale, you want to get 3 fingers down when you go from 1 to 4. Not just the 1 and the 4, but 1, 2, 3, 4 together. And then simply you lift 4, 3, 2, 1 in a downward scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, lift. All right, that's going to make the left hand efficiency much better. also you're planning in advance the next 3 notes in your scale, which is going to help too. So that's another example of left hand efficiency right there that's going to come up over and over again in any descending scale. So that takes care of just some examples of fair, of fun, alignment, relaxation, and efficiency in that order. And yeah, using your mind and body and these concepts, you can break on through to the other side and teach yourself.